Okay, so in order to understand how to surrender, there are some concepts and ideas that you have to understand first. First, let's talk about the concept of fear. Fear is just a state of being that alerts you to possible outcomes, obstacles, or hurt and harm that could potentially take place. Fear is a defense mechanism that your body has to keep you from getting yourself into something that would ultimately ruin your life or take your life. Things that could ruin your life or take your life are obstacles. And the most common types of obstacles, or the only categories of obstacles, are people. So people getting in your way, people wanting to stand in your way to keep you from doing something. Environmental situations, like, for example, maybe, you don't have something you need in order to achieve what it is you're looking for. Like maybe you don't have a car and you need to get to work in order to make money to survive. And the last obstacle is your own mental. Just things that you think, ideals that you have, blocks that your mind contains that will not allow you to move forward. So there's just three: people, environmental situations, and your own mind. If you consider all of the obstacles that could possibly happen, you would understand that you are capable of overcoming any one of those obstacles. People, environmental situations, and your own mind. You have the control, the power, and the authority to overcome every single obstacle. So when you talk about surrendering, many people are not able to surrender due to fear, because of their fear. And the fear that they have seems impossible to move past or to overcome, because they don't understand that any obstacle that comes into their way, they will be able to overcome. In order to surrender, you have to be okay with any obstacle that may be presented to you. You have to be okay with any circumstance that you may find yourself in. And the way that you're okay with this is by knowing that you are capable of overcoming any of those obstacles that may be placed in front of you. Now let's talk about the next piece of surrendering, which is where your mind is, your intent. In order to surrender, your intentions have to be put on following your own internal blueprint. Usually when you're surrendering, it's because you're surrendering the things that are not in alignment with you, so that you can move towards the things that are in alignment with you. So when you're deciding to surrender, you have to set your intention on following your internal blueprint. And your internal blueprint will present itself to you through the desires, the innate desires that you feel inside of your heart. The things that you think about, the things that keep you up at night because you wish you could do them. Those are the desires of your heart. And the desires of your heart are there because they give you an indication of your internal blueprint. Most people cannot surrender to those desires for fear of the obstacles that will come in order to carry out those desires. Most people do not follow the blueprint that they have been innately given, mainly because of that third obstacle we talked about, the mental. Someone has gotten into their mind and convinced them and made them believe that they cannot do what is inside of their hearts. But you have to know that that internal blueprint is important to everyone else that exists here. That internal blueprint that you have is important to the collective, because you are one piece of the puzzle to the entire puzzle, the completion of the entire puzzle. So you have to know that the innate desires that you have inside of you are there for you to follow, and you will be supported along the way in order to carry out those desires. You will be supported. You will be supported because it is necessary. What you have inside of you, no one else has. You are unique. It's like your fingerprint, or, your DNA, your blood. Like, we know it's you by the DNA that you carry. It's the same thing with that blueprint. That blueprint that's inside of you, no one else has that. So because of that, you have to know that God, universe, is waiting and willing, and it's going to support you as you follow that blueprint, as you follow those desires, because it's important to the collective. So I said all of that to say, in order to surrender, one, you have to first you have to drop all your fears. And you drop all your fears by knowing that no matter what happens, no matter what situation you find yourself in, you're going to be able to navigate it. You're going to be able to overcome the obstacle. And you're going to be able to overcome the obstacle because you have the support of God and universe to follow the blueprint, the desires that were put inside of you. So number 2 is follow your blueprint, follow your desires. Number 1 is drop all the fears. Number 2 is follow the desires that are inside of you. Follow those hunches and those nudges that you get to do things, to go here, to say this. You have to follow those promptings. And as you follow those promptings, obstacles may appear, but you should know the way that this is set up, that God and universe will help you to overcome those obstacles so that you can follow that blueprint and do your individual, unique job to the collective. The third thing that you have to do is to have patience with the process. Patience. So that means if an obstacle comes and you're not receiving the assistance that you feel like you need in order to get over it right away, you have to know that things are being lined up to help you get over that obstacle, because you're not the only piece of the puzzle here. You are one of many that are a part of this whole orchestration. So sometimes you may have to stay in a particular obstacle for a while. And while you're there, you will find that you will learn the things that you need for the next step, or you'll find that you'll learn the lessons that you need in order to be a better person, or to be happier or more successful. In that waiting period, a lot of things happen for you in order for you to get to the next step in following your blueprint. Sometimes when you're in that little waiting period, it may look scary. It may look impossible, but that's when God and universe show up and they start to cultivate a relationship with you. And you start to trust God and universe more, so that you have the strength and the ability to keep moving forward. So the third thing is having patience with yourself and the process. And as you do that, you will find satisfaction. You will find love, peace. You will find all of these things in order to have a good life, a fulfilling life, and to find abundance and satisfaction in your life. This is how you surrender.